What is up, guys? It is Marcus from Perspective Sports, and today we'll be catching up on the Premier Lacrosse League. And I know it's been a while since I've uploaded news about the PLL, and I do apologize for that. But today's video, we're going to be discussing the coaching changes, the expansion team, and the expansion draft. This offseason has been a lot more interesting than I expected. We also got news from the league that they'll be kicking off this season once again at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. I got a chance to go up there last year. It was an excellent experience. If you haven't had a chance to go to a PLL event, make sure you get out to one. But getting back to the video, let's start off with the coaching changes. And the first being that Tim Sudan is in as the Chrome head coach. On October 14th of 2019, the PLL announced that then Chrome head coach Dom Starzio will be stepping down after a really lackluster season. They finished just 2-8, and the move caught most people by surprise because the Chrome, it wasn't the case of they weren't competitive. They were very competitive throughout the season. They just could not win the close games. And to see Coach Starzio step down after his first year was in fact surprising. But on December 16th of 2019, the league announced that Tim Sudan will be taking the lead job for the Chrome. And Sudan played his college ball at UMass. He played pro in the MLL for the Rochester Rattlers and would go on to play 11 years of box lacrosse. And after retiring, he would go on to coach the Rochester Rattlers from 2011 to 2017 and would win Coach of the Year for the MLL in 2014. So an overall really good hire for the PLL and a guy who I think can turn it around for the Chrome. The next hire was Ben Rubior, taking the head job for the Atlas. And on October 17th of 2019, it was announced that John Paul will be stepping down as the Atlas head coach after a 5-5 season. And they failed to make the playoffs due to the fact that when they won the games, it was close, but when they lost, sometimes it wasn't really all that close. So their plus minus, which was a tiebreaker, was not good enough to put them in the playoffs despite being tied technically for the third seed. But this team was littered with talent. It was fun to watch, and it was surprising to see Coach Paul step down after his first season. Ironically, the coaching departures were 3 days apart, and the coach hirings were 3 days apart. Because on December 19th of 2019, the league announced that Ben Rubior will be taking the lead job for the Atlas. And Rubior played his college ball at the University of Virginia, where he was a 2-time Towartown Award finalist. He would go on to play in the MLL, where he'd win a championship and championship weekend MVP. And as far as his coaching, he was a varsity lacrosse coach at St. Mary's High School, where he led them to their first MIAA-A conference championship in 19 years. He would then go on to be the Boston Cannons offensive coordinator in 2018. So I'm very interested to see how he takes over being a first-time pro-level head coach because he saw success at the high school level. He was the offensive coordinator with the Cannons in 2018. And so I'm really excited to see how he does as a first-time pro lacrosse head coach. Now it is time to welcome the Water Dogs Lacrosse Club. And the league announced that it would be expanding, but without 2 teams. They were just doing 1, which surprised me because that would make it a 7-team league. And that would logically mean 1 team would get a bye week every week, which actually isn't all that bad. And they did an excellent job of getting the fans involved. They added weeks of anticipation. Fans submitted names. They drew up drawings. They had color schemes and all that. So they did an excellent job of drumming up anticipation, getting people on the edge of their seats, and then they released it. And boy, it was fire. The name was unique. When I saw the name, I was like, I don't even know what you can do with this. But then I looked at the logo, the color scheme, the helmets, fire. And this is probably the best looking team in the league, I must admit. But in addition to announcing the team, they also announced that Andrew Copeland will be the head coach of this team. And Copeland was a former head coach of 11 years at Fairfield University, where he had the highest win percentage in school history. He won back-to-back regular season conference titles and won CAA Coach of the Year in 2015. He's also been a head coach at Marist College, and like the other hires, he also is a former player. He played his college ball at Bucknell University. And so the guy with the most head coaching experience will be tasked with leading a new team, building a culture, and its identity. Which leads us to our final topic, and that's the expansion draft, and here are the rules. Each of the original 6 teams can protect 11 players, 1 goalie, and 10 positional players, which will be submitted today, and the league is teased that they'll release which players are kept and not kept today, but as of right now, we don't know. The Water Dogs LC will then pick 18 players from this pool of unprotected players, and they cannot select more than 4 players from any one club. Players who are active military or college holdouts will not be entered in the draft pool. A college holdout is considered a player who didn't make an appearance on the traveling roster. For example, Pat Spencer will not be entered in the draft. After the expansion draft concludes, teams will be required to submit a 25-man roster to the league, and any player not on the roster will be placed on the designated player pool, in other words, free agency. Overall, I am really excited to see who the teams will elect to keep and who they allow to hit the draft, because each team is filled with talent, which is why a 7th team was more than doable. The league did a great job of getting the fans involved, thinking of the 7th team, and the slogan is phenomenal. Every game is a revenge game. And it's excellent because most of the team will be made up of guys who weren't protected by their old team. So they're on get back. And we don't know how the draft will be done, but in theory, because they had a playoff for the number 1 pick, but in theory, it could be a revenge game for them too, because teams had to pass up on you for you to fall to the Water Dogs. So the league did a really good job of planning out and introducing the 7th team. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you think about the coaching changes? How do you think this new team will perform? Because the league is littered with talent. And so the 7th team is going to be competitive. Let me know down in the comment section below. I'll see you there.